How important is teamwork in your business? Do you wish your teams coordinated better? OpteriX brings your teams together with timely information. The project control sheet is an important tool. It captures the complete flow of information for every project. The salespeople create the bill of quantities. The designers create the bill of material. The purchase people get the best rates from suppliers and issue supplier POs. The stores receive material from the suppliers and issue the material to the projects. The projects install the material and report measurements. Accounts creates invoices as per payment terms. They also release payments, receive payments, and keep the books in order. Let's see this in action. Every project starts with an enquiry. So we will start with an enquiry. A few things need to be noted here. The customer must be selected from the available list. If required, a new customer can be added by using this form. All the mandatory columns have been marked with a red star. Those must be filled before you save. All the other items do not need to be filled right away, but later you can come back and edit the inquiry and fill the additional info. So for now, we save. Next, we go to quotation. So here we are creating a new quotation. We must select a manufacturer first. So we select a manufacturer. We just type the name and select it from the list and hit this generate. This is the quotation editor. We will fill this with what is known as the BOQ items. So I picked, for example, an outdoor unit. The description, unit of measurement, price have been automatically pulled in from the item master where this item exists. I just need to enter a quantity. Similarly, I will add all the rest of the items which will form the bill of quantity for this particular project. It's done. I have entered the equipment and the low side plus the labor required for completing this project, and I'm ready to save. If required, I could offer discounts on the high side here and flat discount on the low side here. And if I wish, I could offer specific discounts on individual items here, such as I can give a 10% discount only for this particular item. That done, the summary of the high side, the low side, and the total is presented here. We are ready to save it and finish making the quotation. Now, this quotation can be shared with the customer. It looks like this. There is a printable copy that comes up, can be printed as a PDF or on paper and send it. And once this quotation has been approved by the customer, we mark this as confirmed here and put a confirmation date and save. As soon as the sale is confirmed, all the departments get notified automatically. The designer is one of the first to get started with preparation for the bill of material. They get a drawing such as this, as in case of a VRF example, and they start preparing the bill of material as per the drawing. First step, selection of copper. Second step, selection of the billable items such as the ref nets and drain pipes and so on. And third is selection of the non-billable supporting items such as the nuts and the insulation material, etc. That happens automatically by OpteriX for HVAC. To create the bill of material, we are now in the designer dashboard. We start by picking this action for setup bomb low side. I have selected a project from the list, given the circuit for which I am creating the bill of material a name, circuit 1, and entered names for each of the section within the circuit diagram. And next I will be selecting copper pipes of different sizes as required as per the diagram for each of these sections. This is the copper selection screen. Each row in this screen is a section in the circuit diagram that we had seen earlier. In this step, I will be selecting copper pipes of different sizes as required for each of these sections. I have entered the lengths of each size of the copper pipe required for each section in the circuit diagram. Now I save and hit next to get a first draft of the bill of material for this circuit. I get the sum of the quantities of different size of the copper pipe required. Then I get some of these other placeholders such as the ref nets and the drain pipes and the copper flexible pipe and so on. Some lengths have been suggested here. As an expert designer, I can now edit these quantities and set the right ones and save. There. I'm now happy with the values, with the quantities of all of these items. Save it. And that completes my bill of material for this circuit. One final step, I have to hit confirm over here. Now I can examine my bill of material. So this shows for this project, which is Rust Valley Palace, as we had selected earlier, the high side items which came from the BOQ, and now the low side items which have come from the bill of material that we just created. These quantities have been filled in. So my bill of material is ready for one circuit. If there is another circuit in the project, I can create one more bill of material, same process, and the overall quantity will get added here. To finalize this bill of material, I need to add dependent items. All the nuts and bolts and elbow joints and so on need to be added. We will do that by clicking this button called Add Dependent Items. But before we do that, notice that there are 22 items in this bill of material right now, right? And let's see what happens after I hit this button. I hit this button, Add Dependent Items, and there. Now there are 49 items. So what got added to the bill of material? Let's see carefully. These 7, 8, 9 and 10, the panel, the receiver, the handset, another receiver, these were not there before. These have been added to match with the equipment that we selected above. And on the low side, we see over here the nitrile rubber, the acoustic armor sound and so on. All these items got added in proportion to the items that were selected above in the billable section. Now the bill of material is ready and the purchase department can get started with getting the supplier rates and placing purchase orders. The purchasing department gets offers from their supplier. The offers can be entered as follows. I have filled in the name of the project, the supplier, etc. and it's saved. And in the next step, I will be entering all the items and the rates and the quantities that the supplier is offering. I have entered the names of the items, their quantities and the rates at which those quantities are being made available under this particular approval number, and I save. Next, what I do is enter this get dependent items. It brings in the dependent items and I enter the rates being offered for those as well, and then I save it, and that completes this supplier offer. To buy some high side equipment for our project, we go to the sales orders, find our project and go to bill of material. This shows the full list of items in our project, and we select some of these items such as these and click this button called new supplier PO. The supplier PO editor has been set with the items we picked along with the supplier prices that we had set earlier and the quantities as defined in the bill of material. All we had to do was select the supplier, which we did, and selected a due date, and at the bottom we got the total amount for this PO. So we entered the same amount here as advance paid. So we have paid so much advance and wrote down the payment remarks, with the details of the payment made and the payment date, and that's it. The supplier PO is ready. We save and hit next. A printable copy of the PO is available here. We can just click and print and share with the supplier as required. And now to receive materials against this PO, what we need to do is first make sure the PO is set to confirmed state. Then select the PO and hit this button called receive goods. When we do that, the items in the PO are again moved into this goods received note or the receipt editor, and we have to enter the quantities here and the invoice number and invoice date and an order number that might come with the supply. So assuming we have just received 1 unit each of these items, we have filled 1 here. That means there will be a subsequent delivery for the same PO, and we have entered the invoice number and the invoice date and an order number from the supplier, and we save. That's it. This material is now in our inventory. Now is the turn of the store to issue material to the project. For that, we go to the sales orders, select our project, and go to the project control sheet. The project control sheet shows the status of all the material so far. There is the BOQ quantity set by the sales, then the BOM quantity set by the designer, and the purchase quantity. As we just saw, we purchased 1 each of these items. Now we are going to dispatch these items to the project. So we selected those, and now we hit this button called dispatch selected. When we do that, the dispatch editor opens up, and we can now enter the quantities that we want to dispatch like that. And that's it. Our delivery challan is ready. We can save it and hit next, and there, this is a copy of the delivery challan. It can be printed on an A4 size paper just like that, and it can be sent along with the material. Now we can also create an invoice for this equipment that we are just sending. For that, we hit this button called setup invoice. When we do that, the items in the delivery challan are moved into the invoice along with the rate that was agreed to in the BOQ, in the quotation, and the tax rates are entered. All we have to do is hit this check box to make sure that we agree with these quantities and the items that have been included in the invoice, and save. And that's it. An invoice has been generated for this particular DC, and we can look at the invoice. It looks like this with our logo and customer detail and our detail and so on, and it's now ready to be presented to the customer. And now let's go back and look at the project control sheet to see how things are. We can see that the project control sheet has been updated with the delivered quantity and delivered value, and also the billed quantity and billed amount, because we dispatched and then we created invoice as well. Now, to complete this sequence of activities, what is remaining is for the project team to report installation. So we go to the installation report, fill up this task for installation and hit save. And that brings us to this form where I have listed the items installed along with their quantities. An approver's name and phone number has been entered as well. Now the approver can sign this right here. And that completes the process of reporting measurements. That brings us to an end of this sequence of activities. We had started from the creation of a BOQ, and then we created a bill of material from the designer dashboard. Equipment was purchased and issued to the project. The project installed the material and reported measurements, and the accounts created an invoice based on the delivery challan. I hope our work helps our customers execute better with great coordination. Always open to suggestions on how to make it even better, even more useful. So please keep your feedback coming. Thank you so much for watching.